10 Minimalist Lessons from Fumio Sasaki for True Happiness. Have you ever bought something, felt delighted for a few days, then the feeling vanished, leaving one more crowded corner at home? Fumio Sasaki was once the same. When he began to clear his home, he realized he was living among piles of choices he had never truly chosen. Only when he let go of almost everything did he touch a quiet kind of joy, a deep breath in his chest. So, where does true happiness come from, and how can we reach it? That question does not demand an immediate answer. It invites us to pause, to look within, and to listen. In a world that keeps whispering more, Sasaki, the author of Goodbye Things, chose to move against the current, have less in order to live more. Not because he despises objects, but because he wants to return to what cannot be bought. Less and clearer, less and deeper. He started with the smallest things, yet the greatest change happened inside. His mind grew quieter, his heart became lighter. If we keep chasing material things, we will remain tired, anxious, and never feel enough. The more we have, the more we fear losing. The more we fear losing, the tighter we cling. That loop never ends. But when we understand the principles Sasaki practices, from intentional shopping and shaping our space to cultivating a modest, steady gratitude, we can begin to loosen the knot, one knot at a time, so that each day moves more lightly than the day before. In this video, I will share 10 minimalist lessons from Sasaki, lessons like a small compass guiding us back to freedom, happiness, and sufficiency without adding a single item. Not lofty theory, clear practices that you can apply the moment this ends. And I promise to over-deliver, not only philosophy, but a concrete map of happiness, from filtering desires to building a daily gratitude habit. One simple line to open the path. Remove one thing, add one breath. Let us begin. 1. Happiness beyond stuff. Imagine this. You have just bought a new phone. In the first few days, every notification feels like a tiny spark. Each time you open it, your heart stirs, as if you are touching a new version of yourself. But only a week later, that feeling quiets. The phone returns to what it truly is, an object sitting still on the desk. Something to charge, to wipe, to guard against scratches. Fumio Sasaki once lived like that too, collecting tech gadgets, expensive clothes, things that made him seem a little more in the eyes of others, yet a little less inside himself. Then he realized, the joy that comes from objects never lasts. It flares up quickly and fades just as quickly. Like fireworks breathtakingly beautiful, yet the night sky returns a few seconds later. If you pause for a moment and ask, what has brought me the deepest joy? Not a fleeting thrill, but something steady, warm, and staying. For Sasaki, it was a quiet morning with a cup of coffee, an airy room after clearing things out, the free time to finish a chapter without interruption. That joy does not need a receipt. It does not demand an upgrade. It grows as we have fewer things to care for. Simply living has become my joy, he says. That line does not call us to run away from objects. It invites us to return to a sense of enough, a sense of being able to breathe. Tonight, try a small exercise. Sit down for a few minutes and write 3 things that made you truly happy in the past month. It may be an honest conversation, an afternoon walk in the park, or the moment you forgave yourself. Then look again and ask, did any of those 3 depend on buying something new? If the answer is no, you have just stepped through the first doorway. If yes, ask yourself further, did that joy come from the item or from the experience you had while using it? The connection, the freedom, the curiosity awakened? When you grasp this difference, you begin to take charge of your happiness. You shift from owning to feel good to living to feel enough. Minimalism is not adding another belief system to your life. Minimalism is subtraction. When we remove what is excessive, the unconscious habit of shopping, the urge to prove ourselves, the fear of being left behind, we suddenly hear more clearly the sound of what is already here. Loved ones, growth, peace. It is a quiet joy, a joy without spectacle, the joy of a tidy room, a clear line of thought, a heart that no longer has to stand guard over too much. Remove one thing, add one breath. It sounds light, but it is a small vow to yourself. And then a paradox appears. The more we let go, the freer we become. Because having less is not lack. Having less is no longer being controlled. The question for you and for me, can less give us more freedom? Hold that question on the tip of your tongue like a small seed. Because only when we dare to say enough do we make room for happiness. We will continue to look closely at that freedom where it comes from, and why only when the hand releases can it truly open. 2. Freedom through letting go. Have you ever stepped into a cluttered room and felt your energy sink? You do not need to do anything, just stand there and your mind feels pulled down by all the things staring back at you. Fumio Sasaki once lived in a small Tokyo apartment where unread books lined the wall, clothes were rarely touched, and tech gadgets wore a fine film of dust. It looked like abundance. It felt like confinement. Every object demanded a slice of time to clean, a drawer to keep, a space in the mind to remember. He realized a simple, powerful truth. Freedom does not come from adding more. Freedom arrives when we dare to let go. Begin small. One drawer, open it, lift each item into your hand, and ask softly, when did I last truly use this? Does it add value to my life, or is it quietly placing a stone on my shoulders? Objects have a quiet voice. They invite us to keep them, promising there will be a day we need them. The price is distraction. The price is delay. The price is an invisible debt hanging in the mind. When we allow ourselves to pay off those debts, we return to ourselves a space to breathe. At the beginning, Sasaki gave away nearly half of what he owned. The room did not grow larger, yet the air grew lighter. He had more time, because cleaning became as easy as a passing swipe. Empty surfaces appeared. Light fell across the floor without being blocked. And most surprising of all, his mind grew still, his sleep deepened, and a sense of peace slipped in like the first breeze of the season. When the outside becomes tidy, the inside can be heard. When the hands grasp less, the heart holds less tension. There is a plain Japanese spirit here. When the heart is open and empty, the wind can enter. Tonight, try a small ritual. Walk around your home and choose 5 items you have not touched for 6 months. Place a hand on each, thank it for the times it served you, and let it leave, give it away, sell it, or recycle it. Do not rush. Take one deep breath after each release. You will notice your body grow lighter almost at once, as if you had just taken off an invisible backpack you have worn for years. That relief is not loud. It is quiet. It lasts. Minimalism is not loss. Minimalism is reclamation. Each unnecessary thing you set down returns a unit of energy and focus to you. You reclaim time for the people you love, for the work that makes your eyes light up, for quiet afternoons where you can hear your own thinking. You take back agency from objects, from the habit of stockpiling, from the fear of, what if I do not have enough? As Sasaki says in plain words, each thing I let go of gave me more room to live. Less is a beginning again. Emptiness is potential. Space is freedom. And here is the turning point. Letting go does not only leave you with less, it sharpens your sense of what is worth keeping. When the excess leaves, the essence comes into focus. Less, but right. Less, but lasting. Less, but reaching deeper. The next question opens here. Why can choosing quality over quantity change everything about how we live each day? 3. Choose quality every time. In a consumer culture that keeps whispering, the more the better, we easily believe happiness lives in quantity. More shirts, more devices, more choices. Fumio Sasaki discovered the opposite. He found a truth both simple and sharp. One carefully chosen item can bring deeper joy than a closet full of cheap things left unused. When we own too much, our ability to appreciate becomes diluted. But when we keep only what is truly high quality, each piece becomes special as if it carried a quiet life of its own. Imagine a closet that finally breathes. Each morning, instead of standing in front of a sea of indifferent clothing, you reach for a few pieces that make your whole body exhale, a gentle fabric, a true fit, a form that holds, ready for almost any moment. You no longer choose because, maybe I will need it someday, but because this serves my life well. Less but right, less but deep, less that makes you smile in quiet. Starting with the wardrobe is the easiest path. Ask yourself honestly, of all the shirts you own, how many do you actually wear regularly? Sasaki narrowed down to only a few favorites, yet each one met three conditions: comfort on the skin, versatility in many situations, durability over time. From fumbling among 20 options he did not love, he returned to 3 outfits he truly did. The sensation of spaciousness on a rushed morning is a calm kind of happiness. And this truth reaches beyond clothing. In the kitchen, one truly sharp knife and one reliable pan can replace an entire bulky set. In work, a stable, trustworthy machine is worth more than a pile of accessories that see light once in a while. Quality is the quiet of objects. When a thing is good, it does not demand you. It simply does its work, invisibly and well. Tonight, choose one domain of your life: clothes, kitchen tools, or technology. Lay everything out and pay attention to your body as your hand touches each item. The pieces you rarely use, let them go. Gift, resell, or recycle. Then, only if you truly need to add something, choose a single quality item that meets the core need, is durable and repairable, and will stay with you for years. You will feel the difference in your breath when you open the closet, in the lightness of your step as you leave the house. Expensive at the moment of purchase, but inexpensive across the life of use. Price and value are not the same. Minimalism is not scarcity. Minimalism is value. Choosing quality is an investment in peace, in durability, in a quiet joy. You stop drowning in endless, near-identical options and begin to appreciate the few things that truly matter. Each item that remains becomes a small part of daily happiness. A favorite shirt worn soft, a mug that warms your hands, a pen that writes as smoothly as your thought. Keep less to keep well. Keep well to feel grateful. And as Sasaki gently reminds us, choose less, choose better. Each item you keep becomes part of your happiness. Yet there will be moments when you truly need to buy something new. The question will no longer be to buy or not, but how to buy with intention. In the next lesson, we will step into that art so that every time you invite something into your life, you invite clarity with it. 4. Buy with intention. Have you ever bought something in a burst of impulse and a week later felt regret? The first feeling is excitement, as if a new version of yourself has just been unlocked. Then, very quickly, the item falls quiet, sliding into the ranks of things that take space, take money, take time, and take your peace. Fumio Sasaki fell into that trap more than once. A new gadget, a trending jacket, a decorative piece that seemed like it would make life more beautiful. But the more he gathered, the tighter life felt. And on a day of waking up, he asked a small question that made a big change. Will this truly bring lasting value, or is it only a brief flash of excitement? From then on, he trained himself to pause. Before reaching for his wallet, he quietly asked 3 very ordinary but very deep questions. 1 month from now, will I still use this? Does it solve a real need? Or is it only soothing a temporary want? And what price will I actually pay, not only in money, but in time to care for it, energy to keep it, space to store it, and room in my mind to remember it? Many costs never appear on the receipt. They hide inside the days, leaking out slowly. By answering honestly, he discovered something gentle and strong. Saying no to unconscious buying is saying yes to many other things. Money does not disappear. It becomes trips, courses, long coffees with people who matter. Time is not eroded by wiping and organizing. It returns for reading, for training, for sleeping enough. The mind is no longer dragged by ads and the crowd's expectations. It stands firm inside a private, quiet zone. You can try a simple ritual right now, this week, before any non-essential purchase. Wait 48 hours. Write it on a waiting list, and let the craving pass like a wave. If after 2 days you still feel it adds real value, clear, specific, lasting, buy it with calm. If not, you have just given yourself 2 invisible gifts: less clutter and less regret. Waiting is a way to breathe before committing. Wait to see want and need separate. Wait to sign the right thing. Buying with intention is an act of freedom. It moves you out of the control of advertising and social pressure, and returns to you the right to design your life. Minimalism is not forcing yourself to deny joy. Minimalism is choosing joy that lingers. Joy that is still there after the receipt has forgotten you. When you choose with awareness, each item enters your life as a partner, not as a master. Buy less, but let each purchase be a promise to your quality of life. Fewer explosive wow moments, more enduring, And as Sasaki reminds us, plain and clear, every intentional purchase is a doorway to greater freedom. Buy less to live more. Slow down to feel enough. Ask questions to keep yourself at the center. The less you have to guard, the more you are free to live. But there is something deeper than buying and keeping a practice that costs nothing and can change how we feel about life entirely. When we learn gratitude, we do not need more and still feel more full. We will open that lesson next. 5. Gratitude changes everything. Try thinking about this. How many things do we take for granted until they disappear? A hot meal after a long day, a favorite shirt that knows the shape of your body, a quiet morning before the city wakes. Fumio Sasaki admits he once missed the beauty of these things too. Only when he let go of most of his belongings did he see clearly the quiet joy that had always been there, patiently waiting to be named. Happiness, it turns out, does not arrive by addition. It blossoms when we truly notice what is already present. From that moment, Sasaki began a small but steady ritual. Each morning, he silently offered thanks for 5 simple things around him. A blanket still holding warmth. Clean water he could drink the instant thirst appeared. A pale ribbon of light separating the darkness at the window. A healthy body able to walk, to lift, to embrace. Sometimes he added the breath itself, a silent proof that he was still here. No fanfare, no complicated ceremony, only attention placed on what exists. Little by little, this habit shifted a lens inside him, from scarcity to sufficiency, from demand to gratitude. When the heart shifts, the world shifts. You can try it tomorrow. Before you touch your phone, sit upright, place a hand on your chest, and whisper the names of 5 things you are grateful for. Write them down if you like, or simply speak softly as if talking to yourself. You will feel the day change tone. Less hurried, less comparing, less grasping. When your inner language moves from not enough to enough already, craving settles and presence expands. Gratitude turns little into enough and enough into abundance. The sentence works like a small mantra. Each time you repeat it, you pull yourself out of the whirlpool of wanting. Minimalism, at its deepest level, is gratitude. When you recognize enough, you stop chasing more. When you call happiness by its right name, you no longer need to prove it to anyone. As Sasaki says, the more I feel gratitude, the lighter my heart becomes. Light enough to breathe, light enough to love. Light enough not to be dragged by advertising, trends, or the passing hunger of the ego. Minimalism is not about having nothing. Minimalism is about seeing that you already have more than you need. And when you see that you already have, you naturally want to keep, to cherish, to care for what is living with you. There is a small truth with great force. Gratitude does not change the objects, but it changes the person who lives with them. The same cup, when met with gratitude, you drink more slowly and feel more warmth. The same morning, when met with gratitude, you hear birds more clearly and anxiety more softly. Gratitude is the key that opens the door to the present. Open it once and light enters. Open it each day and the room within you grows brighter. But Sasaki discovered something more. Gratitude softens the heart, while moments are what weave our memories. Why do experiences live longer than possessions? Why can an afternoon walk remain for years, while an expensive purchase fades after a few weeks? We will open that door in the next lesson. 6. Moments over things. Try remembering the happiest memory of your life. Was it the day you brought home your first expensive phone? Or the road trip where you laughed until your stomach hurt, leaned into the window while the wind played with your hair, and realized you were small and free? Fumio Sasaki realized that no object ever gave him the steady joy he felt in the moments he lived fully with others. Unhurried conversations that forgot the clock, a sunrise on a station platform, a bowl of hot noodles that warmed a rainy afternoon. Objects fade, moments stay. Objects belong to us. Memories belong to us and to the people we love. From that discovery, he stopped collecting things and started collecting experiences. Instead of buying the latest gadget, he bought a train ticket. Instead of adding a shirt identical to 5 others, he chose a long afternoon with an old friend. Instead of decor, He decorated his life with walks and home-cooked meals. He noticed the sense of being alive rise each time he chose to do something rather than bring something home. It was a kind of wealth that did not need a big closet or a powerful credit card. Own less, live more. You can try it this week. Instead of buying a new item as a reward, use the same money for an experience. A picnic on the nearest patch of grass, a cooking class for a dish you love, an unhurried dinner with someone dear, or a short ride to the next town just to drink coffee somewhere you have never been. Watch what happens afterward. An item, if bought, would quickly blend into the background of a room. An experience lingers like a scent each time you remember it. Your chest warms. Objects grow old, memories ripen. That is how time takes your side. Minimalism teaches a gentle, deep truth. Objects age, while memories grow richer with the years. When we choose moments over things, we choose stories to tell again, connections no one can take away, and joy that needs no warranty. A new shirt may make you look different in the mirror for a few days. A short trip may make you different inside for many years. The right moment is capital. The right moment is the interest of the soul. The real treasures of life are irreplaceable moments, not objects. Here is something else. When you shift your focus to experiences, the objects that remain gain meaning. One backpack you actually use. One pair of shoes good enough to go far. One favorite mug for the morning. You keep what helps you live, the moments worth keeping. The relationship between having and living rearranges itself. You have in order to live, not live in order to have. Less that serves. Less that opens the way, less for more. And here is the surprising thing Sasaki touched. When he owned less, he did not feel deprived. He felt strong. Time opened up. Schedules grew flexible. Decisions became light. The body lightened, the mind quickened, the heart had free hands to hold life. The fewer things you must guard, the more things you can do. A new horizon appears with the next question. Why does having fewer possessions allow us to do more? And how does versatility become the key to living small, yet living fully? We will step into that secret next. 7. Own less, do more. The paradox lives here. The less we have, the more we can do. Fumio Sasaki only understood this when he trimmed his belongings down to the essential. Mornings no longer meant tearing the room apart for something misplaced. No more endless wiping of a tabletop that never stayed clear. No more standing before a closet asking, "What should I wear today?" Energy returned to what was not an object. The work he loved, the people he cherished, the hours for reading and long walks. Fewer things, more life. It sounds light, yet it changes the rhythm of a day. He kept what truly served him, then asked those few things to serve more. One medium pot, carrying breakfast soup and evening noodles, one scarf thick enough to be a towel and warm enough to be a wrap on a cool day, one simple laptop that became his office, his library, and his cinema. When an object is versatile, the mind scatters less. When functions overlap, time opens. People asked, "Do you not feel deprived?" He smiled. Deprived of the excess, so that the essential can be enough. You can try a small 7-day experiment. Choose 10 items you touch every day, clothes you wear, tools you use, devices you open, and live with only those. There is no need for a manifesto, only attention. Does the morning move faster when you choose among a few things you truly like? Does the room grow quieter as surfaces begin to clear? Does the evening become longer when you are not tidying objects kept just in case? You will notice something curious. As there are fewer things to maintain, the mind seems to grow a new pair of lungs. Emptiness is potential. An empty patch of desk can be an open page. An empty block on a calendar can be a call to a friend you miss. An empty stretch in the head can be the idea that finally arrives. Living with less also trains faster decisions. Instead of 10 near-identical options, there are 2, and one of them is already right. Attention no longer drains into owning, it pours into living. When the essential is clear, the rest steps back on its own. Less makes thinking tidy. Tidy thinking warms the heart. A warm heart makes you want to give. Let go to light up. The line feels like a switch. Flip it once, and the room brightens. Flip it often, and life brightens. Minimalism is not grim restriction. It is release. We stop paying interest on invisible debts called wiping, arranging, guarding, comparing. We begin to receive interest from what compounds for real creativity, connection, growth. When the hands grasp less, the feet go farther. When the backpack is light, the road widens. As Sasaki says, minimalism is not about having less. It is about making room to live more. That open room is not meaningless. It is the field where the worthy can enter. Then, another recognition appears. Minimalism is not a rigid formula. It is not copying someone's list, nor counting to display a number. Each person has a range of living, a climate of the heart, a rhythm for work and love. The real power arrives only when you write your own version. Keep what fits your body, release what rubs against your mind. How do you make minimalism your story, not someone else's map? That door is opening, and we will step through it next. 8. Minimalism, your way. Many people think minimalism is counting items, forcing oneself to live in an empty room, and copying someone else's lifestyle on the internet. But Sasaki is very clear. Minimalism is not a competition. There is no gold trophy for the person who owns the least. There is no universal ruler for happiness. Minimalism is the straight line between what you own and the life you want to live. When things align, the heart softens. When they do not, the heart grows heavy. Less or more matters less than right or wrong. Less, right, enough. Sasaki kept very little, a neat wardrobe, one laptop, a handful of essentials because they served his purpose for living. But he always emphasizes, your essentials may be different. They might be the guitar that has worn your fingertips smooth. They might be the box of watercolors that returns you to childhood. They might be your grandmother's teacup, a thin crack running through it, full of memory. Minimalism does not force you away from what you love. It teaches you to hold it closer by letting go of what no longer belongs. Enough is not a number. Enough is a feeling. When you can feel enough, you will know what you need to keep. Tonight, give yourself a few quiet minutes to speak with yourself. First, think of 3 items you cannot part with, not out of fear of loss, but because they make your life brighter. Name the joy they bring, creativity, connection, comfort. Then, in the next breath, think of 3 items you can set down right now. No blame, no judgment. Only a clear recognition that they have completed their role. When you can tell apart what serves and what drains, the boundary becomes clear. Clarity is peace. You may write it down or simply say it in your mind. You can place a hand on each item and listen to your body. Does this make me open, or does it make me shrink? The answer does not live in the price tag. It lives in the heartbeat. When the right things remain, the room carries a light that is hard to name. When the extras go, time is returned. Simplicity is respect for what is essential. Less to care for, more to live. As you go, you will notice that minimalism is not a rigid discipline. It is a tailored jacket, roomy in the shoulders so you can breathe, fitted at the waist so you can move freely. A little too little, and you are cold. A little too much, and you are encumbered. So do not grab someone else's list as if it were a law. Listen to the rhythm of your work, the way you love, the way you rest. A writer needs a steady desk and a pen that glides. A musician needs space for sound. A yogi needs a clean mat and empty floor. Every life is its own climate. Arrange your things according to the climate of your heart. When you design minimalism your way, you stop chasing trends and begin to curate a life. Each item that stays is a quiet declaration. This is my value. Each item that leaves is a beautiful farewell. Thank you, and may you find your next life elsewhere. Strangely, when intention arrives, noisy wanting settles down. You spend less energy on ownership and more on presence. Minimalism is not about having less. It is about deciding what is truly enough for you. Then something subtle and luminous happens. As the noise lowers, new seeds begin to sprout. Simplicity does not only lighten, simplicity makes a path for growth, fewer things to guard, more space to become. The next question rises naturally. How does living with less help us grow more, and why is each act of letting go a step upward? We will take that step in the next part. 9. Grow through simplicity. When Sasaki let go of what was excessive, he did not only tidy a room, he cleared a sky inside his mind. On an empty surface, light steps in, In an open heart, seeds begin to germinate. Quiet is not a meaningless void. It is good soil. Less scatter, more focus. Less drift, more presence. And on that ground, something unexpected took root. Growth. Before that, he spent himself on small errands tied to things, searching for what had gone missing, wiping what he did not use, worrying about what he did not yet need. When he cut that cord, he returned golden hours to himself, reading longer without skimming, writing deeper without fearing mistakes, learning a new skill with clean hands and a light head, sitting truly beside a friend without watching the clock. Minimalism does not make life poorer. It makes depth richer. Less noise, more self. It sounds like a breath, but it is a strategy for living. Growth, in Sasaki's way, is not a long jump. It is a steady cadence of steps. One page each morning, but a page truly read. One thank you each evening, but a thank you truly felt. One call each week to someone you love, but a call that truly listens. When small acts repeat, they become structure. Structure creates flow. Flow carries you across shallow waters and eddies without draining you. When the rhythm is steady, the heart is strong. A short line that holds a person for a long time. You can begin today, without announcing it to anyone but yourself. Choose a fixed window, 30 minutes devoted to becoming, and guard that window as you would a prized possession. Sit and write a few lines about your day. Notice a thought that returns, and touch it with kindness. Close your eyes and count your breaths, letting the heart return to its natural pace. Open a marked page and learn one new idea slowly. Or simply pour tea, turn off the screen, study the face of someone you love, and finish one sentence without interruption. 30 minutes is not much, but it is a promise you keep with yourself. Keep the promise, and self-respect grows. Self-respect grows, and discipline becomes gentle. As objects make fewer demands, your attention is no longer stretched thin. You do not spin like a pinwheel from task to task just to keep up. You choose fewer aims, but you lay a firm foundation for each. Then progress becomes visible. One extra page of writing each day becomes a chapter. A chapter becomes a draft. 15 minutes of practice becomes a song that flows. 5 sincere conversations become a steady relationship. Fewer directions, more force. Fewer turns, more arrival. Minimalism is not emptiness. It is making room for what is right to multiply. When you remove what does not matter, what does matter has space to bloom. When you place your attention on what nourishes, you become the one who is nourished. As Sasaki writes, "In simplicity, I found not less of myself, but more clarity, more calm, more of your true self." And then you touch a gentle secret. Growth does not require endless effort. More is not always better. Sometimes, a few small rules, repeated steadily, are enough to create large results. A thin thread, one stitch a day, becomes a garment in the end. In the final lesson, we will open that simple box, how a handful of quiet rules can unlock an extraordinary life. 10. Simple rules, real results. Big changes do not always require big efforts. Fumio Sasaki discovered this through a few rules, so small they almost seemed unbelievable. Easy to remember, easy to do. Repeated long enough, they turned his life around. He began with a neat promise to himself, one in, one out. Every time he brought something new home, he let go of one old item that had finished its role. The flow did not clog. Belongings did not have time to swell. And most important of all, his mind no longer carried debts to things that needed guarding. Less clinging, more ease. From that small rule, he wove a few other gentle threads. When the urge to shop rose up, he left it alone for 30 days. If a month later it was still worthy, he bought it with calm. If not, the desire fell away like a dry leaf. Before every spending decision, he asked himself a very soft question: do I already have something I can appreciate right now? Often, simply holding his favorite mug, opening the book he had been reading, or wearing a well-loved shirt made the feeling of needing more quiet down. Gratitude wins the race against wanting. A short line that stops many impulses. You do not need to carry a bundle of self-help strategies. You need only one small rule applied steadily. Choose one principle today and live with it for 7 days. It might be one in, one out for everything that crosses your door. It might be wait 4 weeks for every big want. It might be a gratitude check before each purchase. Place it where you will see it, on the closet door, in your notes app, right on the lock screen. Each time you touch the rule, you touch the wiser version of yourself. You will be surprised by the ripple effect. Clearer surfaces, simpler moves, a gentler voice in your head. No drama, only consistency. Minimalism is not a race for perfection. It is an intentional cadence. Small steps in the right direction compound into freedom. When the rule is simple, you can keep it. When you can keep it, you can change. Small and steady wins big. Slow and sure goes far. These lines sound like rain, soft as they fall, deep as they soak. Another gift is that small rules build a mental immune system. They carry you through tired days when willpower is low. You do not have to think so much. You only do what you promised. Let the rule stand guard. You get to rest. Gentle discipline lasts. Once, then again, and again the footpath becomes a road. And here a simple truth appears, plain as a single leaf. Minimalism is not really about objects. It is about happiness, freedom, and a life stamped with your own fingerprint. Rules are only vehicles. You are the driver. When you can say enough, you can hear yourself clearly. When you say no to the excess, you say yes to what is worth living for. Fewer things to guard. More room to live, and in that fresh, open space, happiness has room to bloom. At this pause, I want you to take a deep breath and look back at the path we have just walked. Not to count the items you have let go, but to listen for where your heart has become lighter. When we say enough, life answers with a gentle silence, and within that silence, we hear our own voice. Carry this reminder with you, like a seed in your pocket. Minimalism is not about owning less. It is about making room for more freedom, more gratitude, and more true happiness. Less to make space to live to be happy. If this message touches you, take the most natural next step. If this message resonates with you, I recommend watching my video on 10 Japanese minimalist habits for a calmer mind. It is the perfect next step to deepen your journey. Another door to open, another breath to deepen. The minimalist journey does not rush. It grows through light, steady, intentional steps. And if you found value here, please offer a warm second. If you found value here, please give this video a like and subscribe so you do not miss future insights on simple, intentional living. A small touch, yet an invitation for us to meet again in quiet, deep conversations. I also want to hear your voice, up close. I would love to hear from you. What is one thing you are ready to let go of today to make space for a happier life? Write it down. Send it out. Release one small thing. Open one large door. Less to tend, more to live. And before we close, let one final image remain with you, like the aftertaste of warm tea. Minimalism is not the end of things, it is the beginning of yourself. When there is less to guard, you begin to meet yourself again. There, happiness is waiting.